Howdy folks, welcome to Rampage Reviews Lucha Underground for September 7th, 2016. Thank God, Lucha Underground is finally back, and we kicked off Season 3 with a hell of an episode. I'm super stoked. Wednesday is already a good night for wrestling, and having Lucha Underground back for Season 3 makes it even better. So how do we start off? We started off with Dario Cueto sitting in jail, doing chin-ups in prison. Very sort of Cedro Connor from Terminator 2. Guard basically comes by, lets him out. He's like, you must have friends in high places. He says yes. They're letting him out of jail and they're giving him back his personal effects. Gold watch, wallet, giant key. And the guard giving him back his stuff? It's the Honky Tonk Man. Amazing little cameo. Just perfect bit of flavor. From there we see Dario Cueto basically at the temple. He's standing outside the fence, sort of looking in. You see the fence open for him, and this car pulls up. He basically looks around, gets into the car, and his lawyer lets him know all the charges have been dropped. Dario makes a comment, and then you hear a voice from the back of the limousine. He's like, if you waste my time again, your next sentence will be death. He says hands, sort of this whole clench motion. But it's not a hand, it's like a gauntlet. It's in the dark, so you have no idea what's going on. And the voice was Spanish. So it's something weird and creepy going on there. We don't know what it is. Other cool thing is, it's a silly little touch, but I love that Dario Cueto outside the temple, he's outside the actual building where they filmed Lucha Underground. I really can't wait till we get further on this season. I can actually talk about some of the tapings I went to and add some extra insight there. But suffice to say, Dario Cueto is outside the actual building, and that gives me these ultra extra tingly. We have Dario and Matanza in the ring, and Dario makes his first announcement that they're back. And that tonight's main event will be the Rey Mysterio. And who will Mysterio face? Matanza? No. Of course not. But the person who he is going to face is going to be Pentagon Dark. Who Dario's a little bit upset that he tried to break his arm. But for all the other chaos and mayhem and violence he brings to the temple, he's sort of forgiven Pentagon for that. So our main event will be Pentagon Dark taking on Rey Mysterio. And then we still need an opponent for Matanza. And Dario breaks out Dario's Dial of Doom. Yes, it's a great big wheel with names of people who have not yet faced Matanza. You spin the wheel and somebody gets a chance to face him. Looks a little bit like the Wheel of Morality from Animaniacs. I laughed about that. The actual Lucha Underground Twitter feed has a sense of humor that liked my tweet. But we spin the wheel, and our opponent is, from the open road, Son of Havoc. Son of Havoc comes out. He is our chosen one. He has come to take out the monster. And we have an amazing match. I love that it's Son of Havoc's speed versus the power of Matanza. Usually we see Son of Havoc, yes, he's got amazing agility, but he's got usually a bit of a power advantage because he's a bigger dude. Not tonight. Setting the tone of the match, one of the early moves is Son of Havoc goes for a flying crossbody and just bounces off of Matanza. It becomes this amazing, great back and forth match. Tons of high-flying moves from Son of Havoc. Lots of power from Matanza. In the end, Matanza basically grabs Son of Havoc out of midair, tosses him up, hits Wrath of the Gods, and gets the pinfall for the 1-2-3, and retains the Lucha Underground Heavyweight Championship. Awesome match. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Super rad. From there, we cut back to Dario's office. Got the Red Bull sitting on the table, which we all now know was used to murder his parents. Because, yes, it's a dark and twisted show. Wait, no, not his parents. Sorry, Matanza killed his parents. He kills Mr. Cisco with it last season, and that's one of the reasons he's in jail at the beginning. He basically brutalized him with that. But we're back in Dario's office, and the Worldwide Underground shows up. So you got Johnny Mundo, Jack Evans, PJ Black, and Taya all show up. And Mundo's like, giving it title shots. You give one to that loser, I want a title shot. And Dario's like, but you lost at Ultima Lucha Dos. He's like, well, I only lost because of Angelico. And we get the flashback. Cinematic of the Worldwide Underground kicking the living crap out of Angelico after Ultima Lucha Dos. And then Mundo shows up with the car, and they basically carry him over, bleeding from the mouth, and just repeatedly slamming the door on his leg while he screams in pain. We cut back to the present day, and Dario's like, yes, I love that story. But you lost, so no, you're not going to have a title match. So Mundo then demands, give me a match against Sexy Star. Sexy Star has the Gift of the Gods Championship, which means she can cash that in at any time for a world title opportunity. Dario's like, you still lost at Ultima Lucha Dos. Only one of you actually didn't lose. He looks over at Taya. You can have the match with Sexy Star tonight. I dig it. I thought that was a cool way to cycle through that, bring up what happened at the season finale, tie it into this season, and Taya getting the opportunity before Mundo's an interesting little cliche, a little extra flavoring, because it's been all about Mundo, so having someone else be put before him, we'll have to see where that goes. We cut back to the ring with Ivelisse in the ring, and she calls out Katrina. She's like, you know what? 2 years in a row, you cost me my match at Ultima Lucha. 2 years in a row. This year, I want you one-on-one. And lights flicker. Lights come back on. Katrina's standing on top of Dario Cueto's office. Just looks down. She's like, bring it, bitch. And we cut out. Once again, we're lacing all of the stories together. We're taking the past, bringing it into the present. It is beautiful, because Ivelisse has been amazing the first 2 seasons. Katrina, we now see sort of getting involved. It'd be really interesting to actually see the two of them collide. The same way we waited 2 seasons to see Black Lotus actually wrestle her first match. It's going to be the same thing with Katrina. We got a lot of hype built up, and we'll have to see what happens around that. From there, we have our next match. We have Sexy Star defending her Gift of the Gods Championship against Taya. Sexy Star has a new mask. It's not like the cloth mask. It almost looks like it's foam, and it's more shaped. Once again, I thought this was a good match. I enjoyed a lot of good back and forth in the course of this match. In the end, the entire Worldwide Underground comes out, and at that point, you're all but sold on the fact that Taya is going to steal this. They've even mentioned the fact repeatedly on commentary that no one has ever successfully defended the Gift of the Gods Championship. But the interference backfires. Taya collides with Johnny Mundo, and at that point, Sexy Star rolls her up. 1, 2, 3, gets the pinfall. There we go. She defends her title. Pretty rad. I really can't wait to see what happens there. After that, we get to our main event. We have Rey Mysterio taking on Pentagon Dark. And, my god, this match is amazing. For the first 2 seasons, I looked at Mil Muertes as sort of the Undertaker of Lucha Underground. Not just because of the supernatural role, but just like the way he moves very methodically. Everything he does has meaning, and everything he does is to brutalize his opponent. Pentagon Dark is like that idea on steroids, with just an extra flair of attitude. Like, it's super intense all the time. He's basically just out to hurt people and break their arms and win. But the gut feeling I have watching his matches is winning isn't the key part. It's inflicting damage and inflicting pain. And that's what he spends most of this match doing. The commentators call it out repeatedly. He's not hooking the leg on the covers. He's hitting these vicious moves, and then the crowd sort of still gets behind him. Because I don't care who you put him against. And that's why they put him against Rey Mysterio, and the crowd still cheers. It's amazing. He is the fan favorite, and he is the most heinous villain they have in the show. But you can't deny his wrestling talent or the charisma he has in the ring. Towards the end, he actually rolls to the outside. He actually gets up in Vampiro's face. Vampiro has been very selective in not wanting to talk about Pentagon turning on him at Ultima Lucha Dos. Matt brings it up once, and Vampiro basically says, we're not talking about that. Pentagon gets up in his face, and you see Vampiro just sort of go stone cold. His face goes blank. And we've seen that blank look before. Bad things happen. At that point, Vampiro basically gets up and excuses himself and sort of walks away. We get back in the ring, and a few moves later, Rey Mysterio does hit the 619. He hits the Sunset Flip Powerbomb. Basically, Pentagon's in the ring. He comes off the second rope, sort of lands with his like thighs next to Rey's shoulders as a front flip pile driver. Canadian Destroyer, Mexican Destroyer, Sunset Flip Powerbomb, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome. And Rey gets the win. Post-match, Rey is celebrating. Pentagon attacks him from behind, locks him up, pulls back on the arm, getting ready to break it when he is hit from behind by Dragon Azteca Jr., who has saved Rey Mysterio. Once again, they were both trained by the original Dragon Azteca, so you've got like bonds of family going there. I dig it. Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Pentagon Dark. Yes, please. I'll definitely take that. Hell, I'll take two. Then, as always, just like a Marvel movie, you want to make sure you stay through the end credits of Lucha Underground. Because after the credits, we get Prince Puma sitting on the bench in the back. You can see him reliving. You can actually hear it. His match with Rey Mysterio. And him taking that loss. And the commentary of, what does it mean to Prince Puma if he wins this? It means everything. At which point, Vampiro walks by. There we go, continuity from before. And you see him, he sort of goes to offer Puma some advice, and Puma's like, I don't need any advice. He's like, you know what? When you fought Mil Muertes, you lost your mentor. But you also lost yourself in the process. And you need to go back and reclaim that. And I dig it, because that match with Mil Muertes was amazing. And yes, he lost Conan in that match, for crying out loud. Conan actually went out in the coffin. Crazy, crazy stuff there. And at that point, Puma actually thanks him because he thought he was going to ask him to take a Pentagon Dark. And Vampiro's like, no, this isn't about me. It's about you. And that wraps our episode. And there's all the threads we now need to figure out what's going to happen. Who is the crazy guy with the claw? Whose name will replace Son of Havoc on the wheel on Dario's Dial of Doom? Who will Matanza fight next? I'm going to say, is the Worldwide Underground done with Sexy Star? Are they done going after the title? We don't know. Yes, after that match, actually, the Worldwide Underground did attack Sexy Star, and she was saved by Phoenix, Aerostar, and Drago. So we've got probably a 4v4 match shaping up, or something along those lines. And also, the other thing I forgot is that Marty the Moth confronts Dario Cueto, wanting a title shot as well. And Dario tells him that it's not the time's not yet. He's like, you carry someone's name around your neck. And Marty's like, oh, I'm done with him. And Dario's like, but he's not done with you. Next week, you shall fight each other in a weapons of mass destruction match. I don't even know what that is, and I'm salivating at the thought of it. But we've got lots of strings to see, like, what's going on with Vampiro? Will he go off his meds again? Will he bring someone in to face Pentagon? Is he actually grooming Puma for that spot, but not telling him? Only time will tell. But that's this week's review of Lucha Underground. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Please like, please subscribe, please share, use the hashtag. It's right there. Rampage Reviews, and we'll see you next time.